चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश हो, चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहां तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहां तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहां तुम चले गए, जहां तुम चले गए। इस दिल पे लगा के ठेस, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहां तुम चले गए। एक आह भरी होगी, हमने न सुनी होगी, जाते जाते तुमने आवाज तो दी होगी। हर वक्त यही है गम, उस वक्त कहाँ थे हम, कहाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहां तुम चले गए, जहां तुम चले गए। इस दिल पे लगा के ठेस, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहां तुम चले गए। हर चीज पे अश्कों से लिखा है तुम्हारा नाम। ये रास्ते घर गलियां तुम्हें कर ना सके सलाम। हाय दिल में रह गई बात, जल्दी से छुड़ा कर हाथ, कहाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहां तुम चले गए, जहां तुम चले गए। इस दिल पे लगा के ठेस, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहां तुम चले गए। अब यादों के कांटे इस दिल में चुभते हैं, ना दर्द ठहरता है, ना आंसू रुकते हैं। तुम्हें ढूंढ रहा है प्यार, हम कैसे करें इकरार कि हाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहां तुम चले गए, जहाँ तुम चले गए। इस दिल पे लगा के ठेस, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए। ओ कहाँ तुम चले गए, ओ कहाँ तुम चले गए, ओ कहाँ तुम चले गए। न कोई संदेश, हो चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए, जहाँ तुम चले गए। इस दिल पे लगा के ठेस, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए। एक आह भरी होगी, हमने न सुनी होगी, जाते जाते तुमने आवाज तो दी होगी। हर वक्त यही है गम, उस वक्त कहाँ थे हम, कहाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए, जहाँ तुम चले गए। इस दिल पे लगा के ठेस, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए। हर चीज पे अश्कों से लिखा है तुम्हारा नाम, ये रास्ते घर गलियां तुम्हें कर ना सके सलाम। हाय दिल में रह गई बात, जल्दी से छुड़ा कर हाथ, कहाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए, जहाँ तुम चले गए। इस दिल पे लगा के ठेस, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए। अब यादों के कांटे इस दिल में चुभते हैं, ना दर्द ठहरता है, ना आंसू रुकते हैं। तुम्हें ढूंढ रहा है प्यार, हम कैसे करें इकरार कि हाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश, जहाँ तुम चले गए, जहाँ तुम चले गए। इस दिल पे लगा के ठेस, जाने वो कौन सा देश, जहाँ तुम चले गए। ओ कहाँ तुम चले गए, ओ कहाँ तुम चले गए, ओ कहाँ तुम चले गए।
मैं रोया परदेस में, भीगा माँ का प्यार। मैं रोया परदेस में, भीगा दुख ने दुख से बात की, बिन चिट्ठी बिन तार। चिट्ठी आई है चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है वतन से, चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है वतन से, चिट्ठी आई है। बड़े दिनों के बाद हम बेवतनों को याद, बड़े दिनों के बाद हम बेवतनों को याद, वतन की मिट्टी आई है। चिट्ठी आई है चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है वतन से, चिट्ठी आई है। अंदर ये पैगाम लिखा है, ओ परदेस को जाने वाले, लौट के फिर न आने वाले। सात समंदर पार गया तू, हमको जिंदा मार गया तू, खून के रिश्ते तोड़ गया तू, आँख में आंसू छोड़ गया तू। कम खाते हैं, कम सोते हैं, बहुत ज्यादा हम रोते हैं। चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है, आई है, चिट्ठी आई है। शहर की गलियां कांटे बन गई, बाग की कलियां कहते हैं सावन के झूले। भूल गया तू, हम नहीं भूले, तेरे बिन जब आई दिवाली, जले हैं खाली, तेरे बिन जब आई होली, पिचकारी से छूटी गोली। पीपल सूना, पनघट सूना, पीपल सूना, पनघट सूना, घर शमशान का बना नमूना। फसल कटी आई बैसाखी, तेरा आना रह गया बाकी। चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है, आई है, चिट्ठी आई है। पहले जब तू खत लिखता था, कागज में चेहरा दिखता था। पहले जब तू खत लिखता था, कागज में चेहरा दिखता था। बंद हुआ ये मेल भी अब तो, खत्म हुआ ये खेल भी अब तो। डोली में जब बैठी बहना, रास्ता देख रहे थे नैना। डोली में जब बैठी बहना रास्ता देख रहे थे नैना। मैं तो बाप हूँ मेरा क्या है, तेरी माँ का हाल बुरा है। तेरी बीवी करती है सेवा, सूरत से लगती है बेवा। तूने पैसा बहुत कमाया, इस पैसे ने देश छुड़ाया। पंछी पिंजरा तोड़ के आजा, देश पराया छोड़ के आजा। पंछी पिंजरा तोड़ के आजा, देश पराया छोड़ के आजा। आजा उम्र बहुत है छोटी, अपने घर में भी है रोटी। चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है। चिट्ठी आई है वतन से, चिट्ठी आई है। बड़े दिनों के बाद हम बेवतनों को याद, बड़े दिनों के बाद हम बेवतनों को याद। वतन की मिट्टी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है। चिट्ठी आई है वतन से, चिट्ठी आई है।
और दिल उदास है, दूर हम हुए तो क्या, दिल तो दिल के पास है। तू कल चला जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा, तू कल चला जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा। तू याद बहुत आएगा, तू याद बहुत आएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा। तू कल बिछड़ जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा, तू कल बिछड़ जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा। तुझको भूल जाऊं मैं, इस कदर पिला मुझे, तुझको भूल जाऊं मैं, तुझको भूल जाऊं मैं। होश मगर आएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा, अरे होश मगर आएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा। तो याद बहुत आएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा, तो कल चला जाएगा। तेरे जैसा कौन है और किसका नाम लूं, तेरे जैसा कौन है और किसका नाम लूं। ला मैं इसी बात पर और एक जाम लूं, ला मैं इसी बात पर और एक जाम लूं, और एक जाम लूं। जाम छलक जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा, जाम छलक जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा। तो मुझको भूल जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा, तो कल चला जाएगा। भूल जाना तू मुझे, जिंदगी संवारना, भूल जाना तू मुझे, जिंदगी संवारना। याद ना करना मुझे, हंस के दिन गुजारना, याद ना करना मुझे, हंस के दिन गुजारना, हंस के दिन गुजारना। तेरा गम रुलाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा, अरे तेरा गम रुलाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा। तो याद बहुत आएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा, तो कल चला जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा। तो याद बहुत आएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा, तो कल बिछड़ जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा। तो मुझको भूल जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा, तो कल चला जाएगा।
भुला देना मुझे है अलविदा, तुझे तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। सफर ये है तेरा, ये रास्ता मेरा, तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। ओ तेरी सारी शोहरत है ये दुआ, तुझी पे सारी रहमत है ये दुआ। तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। भुला देना मुझे है अलविदा, तुझे तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। तू ही है किनारा तेरा, तू ही तो सहारा तेरा, तू ही है तराना कल का, तू ही तो फसाना कल का। खुद पे यकीन तू करता बनना तू अपना खुदा। फिजा की शाम हूँ मैं, तू है नई सुबह, तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना, तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। खिलेंगी जहाँ बहारें सभी, मुझे तो वहाँ पाएगा। रहेगी जहाँ हमारी वफा, मुझे तो वहाँ पाएगा। मिलूंगा मैं इस तरह, वादा रहा, रहूंगा संग में सदा, वादा रहा। तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना, भुला देना मुझे है अलविदा। तुझे तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना, तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। भुला देना मुझे है अलविदा। तुझे तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। सफर ये है तेरा, ये रास्ता मेरा, तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। ओ तेरी सारी शोहरत है ये दुआ, तुझ पे सारी रहमत है ये दुआ। तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना, भुला देना मुझे है अलविदा। तुझे तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। तू ही है किनारा तेरा, तू ही तो सहारा तेरा, तू ही है तराना कल का, तू ही तो फसाना कल का। खुद पे यकीन तू करता, बनना तू अपना खुदा। तू ही है किनारा तेरा, तू ही तो सहारा तेरा, तू ही है तराना कल का, तू ही तो फसाना कल का। खुद पे यकीन तू करना, बनना तू अपना खुदा। फिजा की शाम हूँ मैं, तू है नई सुबह, तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना, तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना।
I don't know how a family gets through a loss like this without the support of friends and family. What you've all done for us in the past 3 weeks has really been a concrete foundation for us to continue. We didn't expect Dad to go the way he did. And every day I feel darkness and every day I feel pain. I just tell myself, thank you God. Thank you God for the blessing of the way in which he went. He went peacefully and he went in his sleep. And if we could pay to go in that way, we all would. There was no suffering and he kept his dignity and he had a smile. And I'm not a religious man, but I thank God Almighty for my dad, the God of legacy, my dad's good deeds in life, in death, took him to a point of peaceful departure. So funny, I thought all this to read and yet everything's just flowing from my mouth. I think that's just the bond of a son to a father. Dads of that generation never said I love you, but they did love us. They loved us more than they could say because they showed it, their deeds. They didn't have to say it. Maybe their parents didn't say it to them, and maybe I don't say it often enough. But love is something you feel, love is something that comes from deep down inside. There's a difference between the word father, which is the biological, the man who has the biological connection to a child. All he's done is give the fluid, that's a father. And a dad is the one who feeds, loves, plays with, scolds, tells off, looks after, teaches, nurtures. That's a dad. And my dad was a dad. He was a very, very good man, and I have some very fond memories of him. I feel so saddened to think that while he lived, I couldn't do half the things I've done in the last few weeks. Parshotam Kalia, my father, was born in Nurmal on the 18th of September 1944. To my grandfather, Rudolf Kalia, and my grandmother, Jennifer Kalia. He was one of 3 brothers and 6 sisters. They had such a big family, I guess, because they didn't have Netflix. If my dad was here, he would have cracked a joke. In 1962, at the age of 18, the same age as my son. All both my sons up here with me now. Because I love you both. I really do. In 1962, at the age of 18, just a little bit younger than I am here, Dad came to the UK. He went to Leamington Spa and he was a bus conductor. Never while he lived did I ever ask him about anything that he ever did. I had no interest. I had my own life. I had my own friends. Since he's passed, I've looked at the photos that people have shared, and I see the cheekiness, I see the humour, I see the naughty man. The man I really wish I could now know, but it's too late. I really wish I'd had those conversations. I wish those photos had emerged. I won't forgive myself for not speaking to him. In 1970, Dad went back to India, and he was meant to have an arranged marriage, but the young lady he was meant to be introduced to turned out not to be suitable. And in the area they asked around and they said, there's another girl in the area, Deklo. So I don't know if it was my mum's good or bad kismet, but she ended up meeting Dad and they ended up getting married. 52 years of marriage they've had together. Actually saying that just makes me think of something. Can anyone in the room, probably anyone who's lost a parent, will understand how much pain a son goes through? How devastated I am, how much pain I'm in, how hurt I am to lost my father. But you know what? Don't feel bad for me. Feel bad for my mother, who's lost her husband and a soulmate for 52 years. Who did everything for that man, who rushed home to cook, who cared for him, who went to the doctors, who did absolutely everything for that husband. A son's bond can't be anything close to a mother's bond. If my dad would say his final words to me right now, they would be, look after your mum. That much I can guarantee. My dad was a hard-working man. He did all the overtime at British Telecom Centre. I hardly saw him in the evenings because he'd be working. I hardly saw him on weekends because he'd be working. All he did was work. And as a child, I didn't understand why he was doing that, but now I do. He was doing that to give me a future like many of your fathers, first-generation Indians who came here, who sacrificed their family easy time for the money to give us the lifestyle and the luxuries that we have today. I never got to do those free things. I go to the park, play cricket. Dad, watch me ride the expensive bike you bought me. You know, watch me ride it or bought me it. I had the best of everything. And they do say the best things in life are free. But you know what he didn't get to do with me? He did with his grandchildren. He loved his grandchildren, and he was their father. He'd cook for them, he'd spoil them, he'd do absolutely everything for them because again, he was a dad to them. He was a good man and it filled my heart with happiness to see what he did with them. I never once thought to myself, I have a regret that my dad and me never had that relationship that some of you had. I used to see you talking to your fathers, laughing with your fathers, having a beer with your fathers. And part of me said, you know what, I've got something that you haven't got. Parshotam is my dad. And again, it doesn't have to be spoken, it was there at home. I just want to share some of the stories that come back into my mind. Some of the funny stories. Like the time he was teaching one of the children maths. And the child, I can't remember if it was Aman or Jay, went to school. And they came back that evening and said, wrong. So my dad, being my dad, lost his temper and said, what do you mean wrong? I've had an Indian education, it's right. Go back and tell your teacher. So he went back and he said, my granddad says it's right. Teacher said, no, wrong. This went on for about 3 days. In the end, it turned out my dad was right. His Indian education, the way he did maths, the solution was right. The answer was right, sorry, but the solution was wrong. He never backed down, he was a fighter. Once, Dad was eating at McDonald's. Aman was about 2.5, 3. And Aman said to Dad, he said, Dada, McDonald's? And my dad said, no, eat baby food. So he went upstairs crying. I don't know what happened on that day, so I jumped on a bus and we went to the top deck. And as we went up the road, there was a cemetery on the left-hand side. And Aman said to me, he said, Dada, what that? And I said, when people die, that's where they go. And that's where you respectfully put them to rest. We came home. I met my dad. And my dad said, oh, you got your McDonald's, you happy? And he said, yes, I have. I have. And he said, Granddad, you're going to be old soon. And when you be dead, because you didn't give me McDonald's, we know where we're going to put you. The irony of making a joke of death. A grandfather-grandson conversation. Stuck in my mind. Once though, when we lived on Hickling Road, I had a fight. Some kids used to let the air down on my dad's car from the tyres. So I went to my dad having a cigarette at the front and I said, Dad, what do I do? And he said, I'm here for you, I'm your dad. Go, sort him out. So I went. Pardon my French, the kid beat the shit out of me. He battered me black and blue. And we rolled around in the floor and the cars were warning and my dad just standing there. That was my dad. And I went back to him and I said to him, I said, what happened? You said you'd be there for me. And he said, two lessons, son. Pick your battles wisely and I won't always be there for you. It's a funny way of sharing lessons of life. He used to park his car at a parking station, under a tree, the same tree, every day. Me being a naughty 14, 15-year-old, I used to go with the spare key and pick up the car, take all my friends and go for a drive. And every day I'd take the car back at 4 o'clock because Dad would be back at 5 o'clock. So one day I've done just that as usual. Gone home, opened the door, there's Dad. He said, how was school? I said, geez, she's fine. He says, guess what's happened to me today? He said, came out the station, went back to my car, my car's been stolen. I said, oh. I said, what are you going to do, Dad? He said, oh, I've reported to the police, they're going to take fingerprints and the culprit will be really, end up in jail. Oh, he let me cry. He let me cry. He didn't tell me that he hadn't done any of that. Because what did my dad do? He was one step ahead of me. He was Kalia Senior. When he parked the car, he knew the engine was hot when he'd come back to it. He felt. So what he did was he started writing the mileage down. And he compared the mileage when he dropped the car to the mileage when he came back with the car. And he pulled out this spreadsheet, long list of where have you been going? And I'm not making it up, that's really what my dad used to do. He used to make these cheese and tomato sandwiches every day and put them in these brown paper bags back in those days. And John lived over the road and I remember he had budgies. So I went to John's house as a kid, I was about 4 or 5 years old, and I picked up a load of budgie feathers which were yellow, blue, black and white. And I put them in this you know where this is going. I put them in the paper bag. I must have forgot about it. Dad came home that day from work and he said, put it up. I won't translate. He said, I went to take out my sandwich, and can you just imagine, he took the sandwich and took a bite, and there was budgie brown feathers. He was a character, he was an absolute character. Aman was his good grandchild. Aman was the polite, decent, nice, never say no to granddad child, do anything granddad said, just like his mother. Jay, on the other hand, is like me, rebellious, always standing up for himself. My dad loved these boys very, very much. He loved both of them, he doted on them, he did anything for them. We've lost out. Dad was meant to see this one go to med school and this one go to become a lawyer. Maya, my niece, was meant to come and live with him. They were meant to go to Turkey in a few weeks' time. Damn you, COVID. If COVID didn't come, we would have had 2.5 years of parties where I could have taken more of those photos. Every opportunity I had to take a picture, I'd give him a glass of red wine and take a photo knowing that it made him smile. That's what my dad wanted, the simple things in life. And COVID took that away and I didn't understand it until now. 2 years of everybody's life were gone. Not to forget all the people that we lost. COVID took away the chance for me to make more memories. I remember when he moved to the new house, just before the pandemic. I'm an Indian son. I was 49 years old. I was so angry. I said to him, the world, all of you sitting here, they're going to turn around and say, your son kicked you out. How did I feel? And he said to me, the world will talk whatever happens. I'm going to do what's right for me. And he did. He did. And you know, I never liked that house. To me, it was just a house. Nobody ever came. Nobody visited. I hated entering it. Then my dad passed away. And all of you showed us so much love. And you turned those bricks into a home. And you filled it with memories, and you filled it with stories, and you filled it with so much that I wish he was there with us to see. I wish my dad was here. I wish he was here to see how much love there is for him. People that haven't been around for so many years. People that are here not because they know him, but because they know people who are near and dear to him. That kind of love and respect you can't buy. That comes from the good teachings he gave to his son and his daughters, that passed on to his grandchildren and his daughter-in-law and his son-in-law. That's why you're here. He was a good man. My dad was a very, very good man. You know, on the 13th of June, he passed away at some point, which means on the 12th of June, my dad went to sleep. I wonder what he thought when he closed his eyes. Did he make plans for the next day? Did he intend to cook something? Did he intend to go shopping? We'll never know because he passed away peacefully. If anybody has both of your parents, count yourself very, very lucky. Take it from me, go and hug your parents. Go and tell them you love them. Go and do things with them, make memories with them, take photos with them. And if you have one parent, do it doubly. Because parents are priceless, but we don't appreciate it. We don't really understand until it's too late. I've been to so many of your funerals over the years, young and old. Sometimes it's the right order, sometimes the order's wrong and it's a child. And I've said sorry truthfully from my heart, I really have. I've never really understood until meri apni bari aagi, when it was my own time to understand, then you realize. And if there was anyone's funeral I didn't attend, I'm so sorry. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I really should have, and from now on I will. Respect is all we can give to parents. Respect is all we can give to each other. Life's seriously too short. You know, everything has an expiry date, but we just don't see it. Every single one of us in this room is going to go. Mostly we won't go peacefully like my dad. But that's a real hard, bitter pill to swallow. I think in the Asian community, we don't bring children to funerals. We should bring children so they understand. These two have had to experience it for the first time. If we'd come when we were younger, you'd understand it's normal, it's okay. It hurts, but it's going to happen to everybody. The shock. That's not my dad. That's the vessel that brought him. The vessel God gave him on this planet to walk. My dad's soul, his Atma, has left. He left on the 13th of June when I saw him in that bed. So much was in my head that I said it all already. There's something that they say, isn't there, called Galhonaho. What if tomorrow never comes? That's so true. Don't save things for later. Don't put things off. At somebody's funeral, they walked me and my dad back to the car. It was their father. And they put our hands together and they said, Uncle and Raj, make up and talk. And me and my dad said, there's nothing to make up about. We just had an understanding. Somebody else used to try and sit us down regularly and say, whatever's wrong with the two of you, sort it out. My dad used to say, get up and get out. He said, there's nothing to discuss. Because there wasn't. We're Kalias. Ask my sons. Since Dad passed away, have I been any less strict? Have I told them off? Of course, because I love them. And when you love somebody, you say and do things which may not be what they want to hear. But that's love. And I'll tell you something, I swear to God Almighty, I have thought and racked my brain for bad things about my father. Not single one, not one single thing can I think about him that he ever did wrong. It's like there's a void in my mind. It's like I absolutely can think of nothing but good about the man. And to be honest, I don't want that to change. That's the power of losing somebody. In a split second, it changes. I wrote a little poem for Dad I just want to read to you all. It kind of explains so very much. Dad, did I do something wrong? So suddenly you have gone. Gone and left all who love you. Did you not think what we will do? Let me take you back in time. Come sit with me, I'll pour you your wine. Then I'll tell you about my past week. The week you never woke up from deep sleep. 20 days ago, it was a normal working day. I went to the office to earn my pay. I received a call to end them all. Mom called me, come home, Daddy's ill. He'll be okay, I said, he'll just take a pill. I drove home that day so fast, knowing in my heart my dad would surely last. I turned my car into your street, so loudly my heart did beat. I saw police cars and paramedics outside your home. The messages started pinging on my phone. I remember the words from WPC Siobhan. I'm sorry, sir. Your dad is gone. Gone? Gone? Where, I said, he's in his bed. Mum looked at me. Your dad is dead. Dad, they told me you died in your sleep. Obviously, I started to weep. Her husband, their granddad, our father, I wept, had passed peacefully where he slept. A very blessed man to go that way, pain-free and with dignity, that's what people would say. I looked at Mum, but she was broken. So I ran to you, Dad. Not a word you could have spoken. Your hands were cold and yellow, but your face calm and mellow. I kissed you on your head and chin as reality began to settle in. Sorry, Dad, for any wrong I've done. Dad, worry not, we'll look after Mum. Amma and Jay and Preet and sisters too. Without our Dad, what would we do? You left me after 51 years. We were going to show you our love with all these tears. But rich or poor, there is one fact. No amount of bassa could ever bring you back. Now each day we speak your name while your photo hangs in a frame. Your memory is a piece of art with which we will never part. Throughout this roller coaster ride, one question I can no longer hide. One question, Dad, I have to ask. Why did you always wear a mask? A face so strict and hard with me. A face so happy others got to see. You never told me of your love. It's like you let it go free like a dove. But a father-son rishta is not spoken. Now look, you've gone. Our love has awoken. You worked hard and made us a home. You worked so hard you deserved a moan. We had the best of everything, the best of money could bring. Money buys anything, good or bad. But no amount of money can bring back a departed dad. Dad, I have but one regret. That is that I lost the biggest bet. That one day I would make you proud, so you could shout out loud. I love my son Raja, and I always have, because I'm Parshotam Kalia, Raja's dad. Dad, I lost, you won, you never said it to me. So I made you a YouTube tribute for everyone to see. To show how much I've always loved you. But now it's gone, what use is that to you? I will wait till we meet again at the golden gates of heaven. Till then, dearest Babu, I'm telling this Samaj, I love you, and wish you well.
Shanti, 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 Hari Om.
भुला देना मुझे है अलविदा तुझे, तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। सफर ये है तेरा, ये रास्ता तेरा, तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। हो तेरी सारी शोहरतें है ये दुआ, तुझी पे सारी रहमतें है ये दुआ, तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। भुला देना मुझे है अलविदा तुझे, तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। तू ही है किनारा तेरा, तू ही तो सहारा तेरा, तू ही है तराना गंगा, तू ही तो फसाना गंगा। खुद पे यकीन तू करना, बनना तू अपना खुदा। खिजा की शाम हूँ मैं, तू है नई सुबह, तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना। तुझे जीना है मेरे बिना. खेलेंगी जहां.
These birds, as the gentleman said, is a symbolisation of peace and release of the soul. For you today, as the birds fly away home, just hold a memory of your dear departed loved one there, and as they fly away home, you'll know it's going up to heaven. The little poem we say is about these birds when we release them, because they're flying away home, they're flying up to the heavens. So we do say the poem in as much as we are releasing today these doves. So we are sending these doves to heaven. They do have parcels on their wings. Be careful when you open them, because they are full of beautiful things. Inside are a million kisses, wrapped up in a million hugs, to say how much we miss you and to send you all our love. And we shall keep you close within our hearts, and there you shall remain, to walk with us throughout our lives, until we meet you one day again. Okay?
You ready, boys?
Okay. Just cut your hands. I've got those in your hand.
If you want to say something to Granddad out loud, you can. If you want to let go in your mind, it's up to you. Hold it together, boys.
Okay, just like this gentleman here.
Okay, hold it with him. You're doing it together, yeah? Just hold it together, let go together and say something for Granddad.
Granddad.
It's alright, up in the air, let it go, let it go.
Just like that. Okay,
Thanks,
guys.
my own big. Yeah, please don't hold it. Fine. Give Granddad a nice message.
Darling.
Mom, you go with Monica and Ruth. Terima kasih. Tipis. If you don't, I'll give it to someone else. Speak. Terima kasih. To you and check on it as well. Thank you. And I'll go with Free as well. Yeah, go with.
Oh, you special.
My dad lived his life his way. He may not have seen as many people as he could, he may not have come out as much as he should, but he was happy. And he always wanted to go peacefully, and he has done. And his soul is free, just like this bird. Go be free. My dad lived his life his way. He may not have seen as many people as he could, he may not have come out as much as he should, but he was happy. And he always wanted to go peacefully, and he has done. And his soul is free, just like this bird. Go be free. Thank you.
ओम यजेन यजमे यजन्त देवतानि सर्वाणि प्रथमान्यासं तेनाकं महिमना सुचंद्र पूर्व साजा सन्ति देवा ओम राजाधिराजाय सायने नमो व्यम्याय शरणाय कूर्महे सा मे कामानाय कामे का विष्णु ओम स्वस्ति ओम स्वस्ति ओम स्वस्ति। बोलना नहीं है क्योंकि ये तो उनकी आत्मा को भी दुख होगा। ठीक है जी, हम जो कुछ देव हाँ दोनों मिलके सुख शांति है, सेवा कल्याण हो।
Raj.
Sure, whoever's coming back to the house for the hover, either we're going back home.
ओम अयन्ते दमात्मा जात वेदस्ते नदस्य वचस्पति वर्धे चात्मा प्रत्यापशुभिर्ब्रह्म वर्चसे नाना दिन समेत स्वाहा ले पानी जब क्यों
रुकिए भैया।
सताउंदी याद दोस्तो पंजाब दी रहिंदी ए सताउंदी याद दोस्तो पंजाब दी निक्के बेड़े कच्चे कोठे जिथे गुड्डे चक लिबड़े रेते ना लेंदे दादा दादी बुड्ढे गोदी चक के खिडौंदी भैन बीही विच चन्नी मेरा होया करे आ जा बाज मां दी पई कन्नी मां कुट सीने लाउंदी मिले खुशी बेहिसाब दी रहिंदी ए सताउंदी याद दोस्तो पंजाब दी रहिंदी ए सताउंदी याद दोस्तो पंजाब दी बार बोड़ा थल्ले खेडे संग हानियां दे कट्ठे नित मजियां नवाइयां पाए खुरली च पट्ठे खंड चोरी चोरी खानी जदों मामे आने आउणा पै ਸੱਚੇ ਫੌਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਸਤਾਉਂਦੀ ਯਾਦ ਦੋਸਤੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਸਤਾਉਂਦੀ ਯਾਦ ਦੋਸਤੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਅੱਗ ਸੇਕਣੀ ਸਿਆਲੀ ਕਦੇ ਧੁੱਪਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹਿਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਭਾਈਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲੀ ਬਾਤੀ ਝੂਠਾ ਮੂਠਾ ਖੈਣਾ ਗੁੜ ਬੇਲਣੇ ਤੋਂ ਖਾਦਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਣਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੋਡੀ ਚੋਲੇ ਨੱਪ ਕੇ ਖੇਤਾਂ 'ਚ ਕਦੇ ਖੇਡ ਆਉਣਾ ਕੌਡੀ ਪਈਆਂ ਮਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਚਪੇੜਾ ਕਾਪੀ ਭਿੱਜ ਗਈ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਸਤਾਉਂਦੀ ਯਾਦ ਦੋਸਤੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਸਤਾਉਂਦੀ ਯਾਦ ਦੋਸਤੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਪੱਠੀ ਤੋਂ ਪੁਨਾ ਕੇ ਕੂੰਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁੱਟ ਲੈਣੇ ਦੰਦ ਦਾਦੀ ਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਥੋੜੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਦੇਣੇ ਲੀੜੇ ਮਾਂ ਨੇ ਦਤੋਣੇ ਆਪ ਖਾਣਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾਉਣਾ ਕਦੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਗਾਦੀ ਤੇ ਲੈਣੇ ਹੂਟੇ ਕਦੇ ਰੋਣਾ ਘਰ ਪੈਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਬਣਾਏ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਿੱਲੀ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਢਾਬਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਸਤਾਉਂਦੀ ਯਾਦ ਦੋਸਤੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਸਤਾਉਂਦੀ ਯਾਦ ਦੋਸਤੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਝਾੜ ਬਾਪੂ ਦੇ ਕਨੇਰੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੇਲਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਗੁਰਮਿੰਦਰਾ ਰੇੜੀ ਤੋਂ ਚੱਕ ਗੱਚਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਖਾਣਾ ਕੋਲ ਮੱਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਪੂ ਨੇ ਮੋਢੇ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਵਿਖਾਉਣੇ ਦਿਨ ਮਤੋਕਿਆਂ ਵਾਲਿਆ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਣੇ ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਮੰਨਣੀ ਜਨਾਬ ਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਸਤਾਉਂਦੀ ਯਾਦ ਦੋਸਤੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਸਤਾਉਂਦੀ ਯਾਦ ਦੋਸਤੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ
किस्मत ने जाने दिल ये खेल कैसे खेले, मन अंदर अंदर रोए, गम सहता रहे अकेले। किस्मत ने जाने दिल ये खेल कैसे खेले, मन अंदर अंदर रोए, गम सहता रहे अकेले। किसे अपना हाल सुनावा, किसे अपने जख्म दिखावा, जो बीत गया है मुझ पे मैं जानू या दिल जाने। है रब्बा, है रब्बा, कोई दर्द न जाने मेरा, दर्द न जाने। है रब्बा, न जाने। है रब्बा, कच्ची थी आस की डोरी, एक पल में टूट गई है। ये अपनों की खुदगर्जी खुशियां मेरी लूट गई है। इस राह वफा में पाई हर मोड़ फकत रुसवाई, जो मंजिल की चाहत थी रास्ते में वो छूट गई है। सुना मन का आंगन है, ये कैसा खालीपन है। मेरे अंदर है तन्हाई, मेरे बाहर है वीराने। है रब्बा, है रब्बा, कोई दर्द न जाने
जाने है